Hello, English learners, and welcome to Story Driven English. Today's story might just change how you think about your morning coffee or breakfast cereal forever. Have you ever wondered what happens before dawn, while you're still sleeping, when a young woman walks into a barn and whispers to 50 massive animals, each weighing over 1,500 pounds? The secret life of dairy farms is about to be revealed, and it contains moments of birth, death, struggle, and incredible beauty that most city dwellers never experience. Imagine learning 20 new English words today that you'll never forget, because each one is connected to a vivid scene in Emma's life, a life so different from your own that it feels like stepping into another world. This isn't just a story, it's an immersive English learning experience. Before we begin this journey to the Green Valley Dairy Farm, if you're new here, this channel uses the power of storytelling to help you improve your English naturally. Our brains are wired to remember stories better than lists of vocabulary words or grammar rules. So hit that subscribe button and notification bell right now to join thousands of learners who are improving their English through the magic of stories. And for our loyal subscribers, thank you for being here. Your comments and engagement help us create better content for English learners worldwide. Now, let's begin our day with Emma as the first light appears on the horizon and the dairy farm slowly comes to life. A day at the dairy farm. The morning sun peeked over the hills as Emma's alarm clock rang. It was 4:30 a.m., and while most people were still deep in their dreams, Emma was already stretching her arms and preparing for another day at Green Valley Dairy Farm. She had been working at the farm for 2 years now, and though the early mornings were challenging, she loved every moment of her job. "Good morning, world," Emma whispered to herself as she looked out her bedroom window. The sky was painted with beautiful strokes of orange and pink. The farm, visible in the distance, looked peaceful under the gentle morning light. She quickly brushed her teeth, washed her face, and tied her long brown hair into a practical ponytail. After putting on her favorite blue jeans, a comfortable checkered shirt, and sturdy boots, she was ready for breakfast. The kitchen was quiet as Emma prepared a simple but hearty meal: whole grain toast with butter, scrambled eggs from the farms, chickens, and a glass of fresh milk. She sat at the small wooden table and enjoyed her breakfast while planning her day. There were cows to milk, calves to feed, and barn areas to clean. It would be a busy day as always, but Emma wouldn't have it any other way. After finishing her breakfast, she grabbed her jacket and headed out the door. The air was crisp and fresh, carrying the sweet scent of grass and wildflowers. Emma took a deep breath, filling her lungs with the clean country air. This was one of her favorite parts of living in the countryside: the natural beauty and tranquility that surrounded her every day. The short walk to the farm was pleasant. Birds sang their morning songs, and occasionally a rabbit would dash across the path, disappearing into the tall grass. Emma greeted Mr. Jenkins, the elderly neighbor, who was always up early tending to his vegetable garden. "Morning, Emma. Off to see your cow friends?" he called out with a cheerful wave. "Morning, Mr. Jenkins. Yes, they're waiting for their breakfast too," Emma replied with a smile. These small exchanges with neighbors along her way to work always brightened her morning. As she approached the farm, she could see John, the farm owner, already busy preparing the milking equipment. John was a kind man in his 50s who had inherited the farm from his father. He had taken Emma under his wing when she first arrived in town with little experience but a strong desire to learn about dairy farming. "Good morning, John. How are "The girls today?" Emma asked, referring to the cows. "Morning, Emma. They're all fine, but Daisy seems a bit restless. Could you check on her first?" John replied, looking up from his work. "Of course," Emma nodded, heading toward the barn where the cows were kept overnight. The barn was a large, well-ventilated structure with comfortable stalls for each cow. The soft lowing of the animals created a gentle background noise that Emma found soothing. She walked down the center aisle, greeting each cow by name. Most of them were still lying down, but a few were already standing, seemingly eager to start their day. "Hello there, Buttercup." "Good morning, Clover," Emma spoke softly to each cow she passed. Finally, she reached Daisy's stall. Daisy was one of the oldest cows on the farm and Emma's personal favorite. The black and white Holstein cow had a gentle disposition and seemed to recognize Emma, always responding to her voice. "What's wrong, Daisy girl?" Emma asked, noticing that the cow did indeed seem uncomfortable. She carefully examined Daisy, checking her eyes, feeling her body temperature, and observing her behavior. After a few minutes of observation, Emma realized that Daisy was showing early signs of calving. This wasn't unexpected, as Daisy was due to give birth soon, but it meant she needed special attention today. Emma quickly went to find John. "John, I think Daisy's going to calf today. She's showing all the signs." John nodded thoughtfully. "Let's move her to the calving pen where she'll have more space and we can monitor her better." Together, they gently led Daisy to a spacious, clean pen filled with fresh straw. The cow moved slowly but cooperatively, seeming to understand that they were helping her. Once Daisy was settled, Emma made sure she had fresh water and hay within easy reach. "I'll keep checking on her throughout the day," Emma promised. "But for now, let's get started with the morning milking." The milking parlor was a clean, modern facility where the cows were milked twice a day. Emma helped guide the first group of cows from their stalls into the parlor. Each cow knew her place and walked to her designated spot with minimal guidance. This routine was familiar to them. Before attaching the milking machines, Emma carefully cleaned each cow's udder with warm water and a gentle disinfectant. This was an important step to ensure the milk remained clean and free from bacteria. The cows stood patiently as Emma worked, some quietly chewing their cud, others looking around with curious eyes. "There you go, girls," Emma said soothingly as she attached the milking machines. The gentle rhythmic sound of the machines filled the parlor as they efficiently collected the milk. Emma moved among the cows, checking that each machine was functioning correctly and that the cows were comfortable. While the milking was underway, Emma took the opportunity to observe each cow closely. This daily interaction allowed her to notice any changes in their behavior or appearance that might indicate health issues. Today, everyone except Daisy seemed to be in excellent health. Once the first group was finished, Emma detached the milking machines and applied a protective dip to each cow's teats to prevent infection. Then she guided them back to their stalls and brought in the next group. The process continued until all the cows had been milked. By the time the morning milking was complete, the sun was fully up, casting a golden glow over the farm. Emma removed her milking apron and gloves, washed her hands thoroughly, and headed to the calf barn. This was another part of her job that she particularly enjoyed. The calf barn housed the youngest members of the farm calves ranging from a few days to several months old. Each had their own clean, comfortable pen, with plenty of fresh straw for bedding. As Emma entered, several of the calves came to the front of their pens, their big eyes curious and their tails wagging like puppies. "Hello, little ones. Ready for breakfast?" Emma greeted them cheerfully as she prepared their feed. The youngest calves were fed milk replacer from bottles with special nipples designed for calves. Emma had to hold the bottles while they drank, which gave her a chance to bond with each one. One calf in particular, a small Jersey heifer named Honey, was especially affectionate. She had been born small and weak, requiring extra care during her first weeks of life. Emma had spent many hours by her side, ensuring she received the nutrition and warmth she needed. Now, Honey was thriving, and she always greeted Emma with enthusiastic head-butts and attempts to lick her face. "Easy there, Honey." Emma laughed as the calf tried to climb into her lap while drinking from the bottle. "You're getting too big for that." After the youngest calves were fed, Emma moved on to the older ones who were transitioning to solid food. She provided them with a specially formulated grain mix and ensured their water buckets were full and clean. Each calf received a scratch behind the ears and a quick health check before Emma moved on to the next. With the calves fed and content, Emma decided to check on Daisy again. The cow was lying down in the calving pen, her sides heaving with contractions. Emma could tell that the birth was progressing, but it wasn't quite time yet. She sat with Daisy for a while, speaking softly and stroking her neck to keep her calm. "You're doing great, Daisy girl. It won't be long now," she reassured the cow. Daisy's large brown eyes seemed to register recognition, and she relaxed somewhat. Under Emma's touch, John appeared at the pen door. "How's she doing?" "Making progress," Emma replied. "I think we'll have a new calf by afternoon." John nodded approvingly. "You've got a good instinct for this, Emma. I'm going to fix the fence in the north pasture. Call me on the radio if you need anything." "Will do," Emma agreed, grateful for John's trust in her abilities. After spending a bit more time with Daisy, Emma decided to continue with her daily tasks while regularly checking back on the cow. Next on her list was cleaning the barn areas that needed attention. This was perhaps the least glamorous part of farm work, but Emma understood its importance for the health and comfort of the animals. Armed with a wheelbarrow, pitchfork, and broom, Emma worked efficiently, removing soiled bedding and replacing it with fresh, clean straw. The physical labor was demanding, but Emma found it satisfying to see the immediate results of her efforts. Clean, comfortable spaces for the cows. As she worked, she hummed softly, occasionally stopping to pat a cow or speak a few kind words. By mid-morning, Emma was ready for a short break. She washed her hands thoroughly at the outdoor sink and then sat on a wooden bench outside the barn, pulling a water bottle and an apple from her backpack. As she enjoyed her snack, she gazed out at the green pastures where some of the cows were grazing. The farm was situated in a picturesque valley, surrounded by gently rolling hills. In the distance, she could see the farmhouse where John lived with his wife Mary, who handled the business side of the farm operations. Emma's thoughts drifted to her own journey. Growing up in a small apartment in the city, she had always dreamed of living in the countryside, surrounded by animals and nature. After finishing high school, she had surprised her family by declining a college scholarship and instead seeking work on a farm. It hadn't been easy at first. The physical demands and early mornings had been a shock to her system, but 2 years later, she couldn't imagine any other life. The connection she felt with the animals, the satisfaction of working with her hands, and the beauty of the rural landscape had captured her heart completely. Her break over, Emma checked on Daisy again. The cow was now standing, clearly in the advanced stages of labor. Emma knew it wouldn't be long now. She decided to stay close by while completing some nearby tasks. She grabbed a brush and began grooming some of the other cows, removing dirt and loose hair from their coats. The cows enjoyed this attention, often leaning into the brush strokes like giant cats being petted. Suddenly, Emma heard a distinct sound from Daisy's pen. She hurried over to find the cow lying down, actively pushing. Emma quickly washed her hands and arms with the disinfectant kept near the calving pen and positioned herself to assist if necessary. Most of the time, cows gave birth without human help, but Emma wanted to be prepared in case Daisy needed assistance. "That's it, Daisy, you're doing great," Emma encouraged as she saw the first signs of the calf appearing, two tiny hooves pointing downward, which was the correct position. The birth progressed normally, and soon Emma could see the calf's nose and head emerging behind the hooves. Daisy gave several more powerful pushes, and suddenly the entire calf slid out onto the clean straw. It was a beautiful heifer calf, black and white like her mother. Emma quickly cleared the mucus from the calf's nose and mouth, ensuring its airways were clear. She then stepped back to allow Daisy to do what came naturally. The mother cow turned to her newborn, mooing softly and beginning to lick the calf clean. This process was important not only for cleaning the calf but also for stimulating its circulation and breathing. The newborn calf was wet and wobbly but remarkably resilient. Within minutes, it was attempting to lift its head, and not long after, making determined efforts to stand on its spindly legs. Emma watched in awe, as she always did at the miracle of birth. No matter how many calves she had seen born, each new life filled her with wonder. "John, come in," Emma spoke into her radio. "Daisy's calved, a beautiful heifer, and both mom and baby are doing well. Great news." John's voice crackled back. "I'll be over in a bit. Have you thought of a name?" Emma looked at the calf, who was now successfully standing, albeit shakily, and making her first attempts to nurse. "I'm thinking Lily," she replied. "She has a small white patch on her forehead that looks like a lily petal." "Lily it is," John agreed. Emma remained with Daisy and Lily for a while longer, ensuring that the calf successfully found her mother's udder and began nursing. This first milk, called colostrum, was incredibly important as it contained antibodies that would help protect the calf from diseases during her first weeks of life. Once she was satisfied that mother and baby were doing well, Emma moved on to her next task. It was nearly time for the midday feeding of the farm's other animals. In addition to the dairy cows, Green Valley Farm had a small flock of chickens, 2 friendly farm dogs, and 3 cats who kept the rodent population under control. Emma collected eggs from the chicken coop, filled the dogs' dishes with food, and made sure the cats had fresh water. The farm dogs, Max and Bella, followed her enthusiastically as she worked, always hoping for treats or a game of fetch. Emma took a moment to throw a stick for Max, laughing as the border collie raced after it with boundless energy. "Sorry, boy. That's all for now," she told the disappointed dog when she had to return to work. "We'll play more later." By early afternoon, it was time for Emma's lunch break. She headed to the small staff room in the farm's main building, where she found Mary placing a pot of homemade vegetable soup on the table. Perfect timing. Mary smiled warmly. "John just radioed about the new calf." "Congratulations." "Thanks," Emma replied, washing her hands thoroughly before sitting down. "Daisy did all the work, really." Lily is beautiful. You should go see her when you have a chance. Mary joined Emma at the table, and they enjoyed the soup with fresh bread while chatting about the day's events. Mary had been a teacher before, marrying John and moving to the farm. She now handled the farm's accounts, marketing, and direct sales of their products to local businesses. Her friendly, outgoing nature complemented John's more reserved personality perfectly. "How's the new cheese line selling?" Emma asked, knowing that Mary had recently begun experimenting with specialized artisanal cheeses using the farm's milk. "Better than expected." Mary's eyes lit up. The herb-infused variety sold out at the farmer's market last weekend, and the calf in town has placed a standing order for the sharp cheddar. Emma was genuinely pleased to hear this. The farm's success meant security for all who worked there, and she took pride in knowing that the milk from the cows she cared for was being transformed into products that people enjoyed. After lunch, Emma helped Mary load some cheese deliveries into the farm truck before returning to her afternoon duties. The warm midday sun made the farm look even more beautiful, with bees buzzing among the wildflowers that grew along the edges of the pastures. The afternoon milking would begin in a couple of hours, but before that, Emma had some training to do. With one of the younger cows, Poppy, a Jersey heifer who had recently had her first calf, was still getting used to the milking parlor. Some cows adapted quickly to the routine, while others needed more time and patience. Emma found Poppy in the pasture and gently led her to a quiet area of the barn. Using a lead rope and gentle guidance, she began working with the nervous heifer, rewarding calm behavior with treats and gentle strokes. Gradually, Poppy began to relax, understanding that there was nothing to fear. "See, nothing scary here." Emma spoke soothingly, letting Poppy sniff the milking equipment without it being attached. "Tomorrow we'll try again in the parlor, and soon you'll be an old pro like your mom." After the training session, Emma checked on all the calves again, paying special attention to the youngest ones. Honey, her favorite, was napping peacefully, her small body rising and falling with each breath. Emma smiled at the sight, remembering how touch and go it had been when Honey was first born. She also made a point to visit Daisy and Lily again. The newborn calf was already much steadier on her feet, exploring her surroundings with curiosity while never straying far from her mother. Daisy seemed content and had recovered well from the birth. Emma made sure they had plenty of fresh water and the special nutrient-rich feed given to cows who had recently calved. As the afternoon progressed, clouds began to gather on the horizon. Emma looked up at the darkening sky, mentally calculating whether they would finish the evening milking before the rain arrived. She hoped so, as moving the cows in rainy weather could be challenging, with muddy paths making the footing treacherous. At 3:30 p.m., it was time to begin bringing the cows in from the pasture for the afternoon milking. Emma whistled to Max, the border collie, who was always eager to help with this task. Together, they headed out to the pasture. Max needed minimal direction. With a few hand signals from Emma, he began expertly herding the cows toward the barn. "Good boy, Max," Emma called as the dog worked, circling wide around the herd, never rushing or stressing the animals, but keeping them moving steadily in the right direction. The relationship between a good herding dog and the livestock was fascinating to Emma. Max seemed to know intuitively how to communicate with the cows, who respected his guidance without fear. As the cows made their way into the barn, Emma counted them, ensuring that none had been left behind or wandered off. All were present except for Daisy, who was still in the calving pen with her newborn. The afternoon milking proceeded much like the morning one, with Emma and John working efficiently together. Just as they finished milking the last group of cows, the rain began large drops at first, quickly increasing to a steady downpour. Emma smiled with satisfaction at their good timing. The cows were all safely in the barn, content with fresh hay and the relief of their twice daily milking. While John finished cleaning the milking equipment, Emma made a final round of the farm, checking that all animals were comfortable for the evening and that everything was secure against the weather. The rain pattered on the barn roof, creating a soothing rhythm. The cows seemed to enjoy the sound too, many of them lying down to rest, chewing their cud with half-closed eyes. In the calf barn, Emma made sure all the young ones had dry bedding and were protected from any drafts. She spent a few extra minutes with Honey and with the newest arrival, Lily, making sure they were settled for the night. By 6:30 p.m., all the essential tasks were complete. The rain had let up somewhat, turning into a gentle drizzle. Emma said goodbye to John and Mary, who invited her to dinner the following evening to celebrate Lily's birth, a small tradition they had whenever a special calf was born on the farm. Emma pulled her jacket hood up against the light rain and began her walk home. Despite the long day and physical work, her steps were light. The satisfaction of a day well spent, the joy of witnessing new life, and the knowledge that all the animals under her care were healthy and content filled her with a deep sense of fulfillment. As she walked, she mentally reviewed the day: the successful birth, Poppy's progress with training, the calves growing stronger each day. There had been challenges too, as there always were in farm work, but nothing that couldn't be solved with patience and care. Reaching her small cottage, Emma removed her muddy boots at the door and hung her damp jacket on a hook to dry. The cozy living room welcomed her with the promise of relaxation after a productive day. She took a quick shower, washing away the day's dirt and sweat, then changed into comfortable clothes. In the kitchen, Emma prepared a simple dinner of pasta, with vegetables from her small garden. As she ate, she jotted down notes about the day in a journal she kept: Daisy's successful calving, Poppy's training progress, and a reminder to check on one of the older cows who seemed slightly less energetic than usual. This journal had become an important tool for keeping track of the farm's many animals and their individual needs. After dinner, Emma settled on her comfortable couch with a cup of herbal tea and a book about advanced dairy farming techniques. Though the day had been long, she still enjoyed learning more about her chosen profession. She was particularly interested in sustainable farming methods that were good for the animals, the environment, and the people who consumed the farm's products. As she read, her eyelids grew heavy. The rhythmic sound of rain on the roof combined with the physical fatigue of the day's work was making it hard to stay awake. Emma marked her place in the book and set it aside. Her alarm would ring at 4:30 a.m. again tomorrow, and another day at Green Valley Dairy Farm awaited her. As she drifted off to sleep, Emma's thoughts were filled with images of contented cows, playful calves, and the beautiful landscape that had become her home. Despite the early mornings and challenging work, she couldn't imagine any other life. The connection with the animals, the rhythm of the seasons, and the satisfaction of contributing to something meaningful made every day worthwhile. In her dreams, Emma walked through sunny pastures where healthy cows grazed peacefully and newborn calves took their first wobbly steps. This wasn't just her job, it was her calling, her passion, and her joy. And tomorrow, she would wake up ready to do it all again. Key vocabulary repeated throughout dairy farm. A farm where cows are raised to produce milk. Milking, the process of collecting milk from cows. Calves, baby cows. Heifer, a young female cow that has not yet had a calf. Udder, the milk producing organ of a cow. Barn, a large building on a farm where animals are kept. Pasture, an area of land with grass where animals graze. Calving, the process of a cow giving birth to a calf. Colostrum, the first milk produced after giving birth. Rich in antibody-estal, an individual compartment for an animal in a barn. Milking parlor, the specialized area where cows are milked. Feed, food given to farm animals. Bedding, material, often straw, that covers the floor where animals rest their dung. Gathering and moving, a group of animal. Shalstein, a breed of dairy cow with distinctive black and white markings. Jersey, a breed of dairy cow known for producing milk high in butter. Lowing, the characteristic sound made by cattle. Cud, partially digested food that cows regurgitate and chew. Again, teeth, the projection from the udder through which milk flows. Forage, plant material eaten by livestock. Thank you for joining us today on this journey through a day at the dairy farm with Emma. We hope you enjoyed this story while improving your English vocabulary and listening skills. Did you notice how many farming and dairy-related words were used throughout the story? Words like milking, calving, and udder might be new to your vocabulary, but now you understand how they're used in context. If you found this story helpful for your English learning journey, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and share it with friends who are also learning English. Your support helps our channel grow and allows us to create more content for English learners worldwide. Do you work with animals, or have you ever visited a dairy farm? What did you find most interesting about Emma's daily routine? Let us know in the comments below. We love reading your thoughts and interacting with our community. And if you're new here, welcome to Story Driven English. We regularly post engaging stories and news articles designed specifically to help you improve your English vocabulary, listening comprehension, and cultural understanding. Click the subscribe button and the notification bell so you never miss our new uploads. Remember, learning English through stories makes the language come alive in a way that textbooks simply can't match. Join our growing community of English learners and let's improve together, one story at a time. See you in our next video. Until then, keep reading, keep listening, and keep learning.